Tav Klitgaard. Look everyone, it's Tav Klitgaard from Denmark.
Yes.
The name of your publication?
Zetland.
Originally a print publication, and now you have kind of diversed into audio. Explain that.
Yeah, so we started doing audio recordings of our articles because think about it, like you've been at work for 10 hours or at school, you've been looking into your screen for all these hours. You don't want to do that anymore, but you want to consume quality news and quality journalism. And so we started doing audio versions of our articles and were just instantly blown away by the demand. And nowadays, 80% of our members, our consumers, they prefer audio over text.
So that's a sizable majority that are now listening to the articles.
That's correct.
So it's taking that quality of print journalism and applying it straight away then to audio.
Exactly.
And is it like some of the articles I see online where it's an AI-generated voice reading the article, or is it a human being?
No, it's definitely a human being. And not only is it a human being, it's the journalist who wrote the article that will go into the studio. So basically there are three main advantages of audio. And one is convenience. And you get that from a robot, right? It's much more convenient because you can consume it while you drive or are in the kitchen or in the garden. So that's convenience, but that's only one thing, and that's unfortunately where most people stop. But then there's also storytelling. So audio is just a much richer format to tell stories engagingly, to show emotions, to really show engagement.
Yeah. The tone of the voice, the pause, the nuance.
I mean, there's a reason why the human species have always, sat around a bonfire and told stories. We didn't write it down, right? We told them, because it's just a much richer media. And then the last thing is personality. So you can basically convey a personality, not only as a journalist, which is important, because who do people trust? Do they trust a machine or an institution? No longer. They used to trust institutions. Now they trust human beings, persons. So you want to convey your personality. You want to talk about, why is this important to me? Why did I spend the last week researching this thing, and why do I think it's the most important thing right now? And then also the personality of the sources. So whenever you have an expert, it's just so engaging when it turns out that expert is actually a person.
Yes.
It's just so much more trustworthy.
The consumers, the listeners, the readers, they're smart. They can hear it in the voice of someone when they trust them, someone who's been genuine and authentic.
Yes.
Now, you were talking about news fatigue, and that young people suffer from news fatigue now because they get it from everywhere. Mm-hmm. How do you combat that when there's just so much coming from every different channel and on every different platform?
Yeah, so that's a hard question, but at least what we try to do...
Answer it in the next 60 seconds.
We try to make quality, because what we've learned is that quality works. So young people don't want to just have fast TikTok, stupid lol things. Young people actually believe and understands that the world is amazing, and the challenge for news is to tell the stories about the world that shows how amazing it is, and so that can be done by constructive journalism, by telling about all the good ideas that are out in the world, but also about by really engagingly telling stories about how amazing the world is, because the world is amazing. There's all sorts of problems, but they're interesting. I mean, it's really interesting.
But turn on Danish television tonight, the main evening news, and those stories won't make the news. They're not considered news in today's media landscape.
We tell the news. We tell about Ukraine. We tell about the climate crisis. We tell about news, but we do it in a more engaging way. So when you turn on the evening news in Denmark, you'll see an anchor with a tie. It's not a friend who's telling you a story, and that's the difference. And what we're seeing is that young people are super engaged in the world. They're not just in this world to have fun. No, they're actually engaged. They want to understand the world. They want to understand what other people are doing and how democracies evolve and how society is. That's also young people. They're trying to find their place in the world, and we need to help them by telling about facts of the world, what's going on, what's happening in Ukraine, but also about inspiring them to be in the world, telling them, making them understand what society means to them and what they mean to society. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Finally, what do you think of this mistake that so many broadcasters, especially public service broadcasters, make when they're trying to reach the youth market through news, and they create these kind of short, snappy shows, graphics heavy, every graphic you could think of is splashed on the screen, but it seems to be failing again and again in so many stations. It's the wrong approach to be dumbing the news down, maybe in some cases?
Well,
simplifying it too much, making it too short?
well, you have to ask them. I don't know. It doesn't work for us to dumb things down. People are smart, also young people.
Hey, great talking to you. Thank you very much.